published the Substack newsletter bashing his own faculty for months. Also, the $550 olive jar for the renovation of the president's house at the University of Akron. And also this angry olive game that I guess was created from it, which I just laughed when I heard about that. And I guess, going back to the shoemaker story I just told at the University of Tennessee, it seems like there used to be a lot more presidential house renovation scandals. Heck, even the Chronicle's presidential salary survey from the Form 990s used to just generate a lot more controversy, I think, than it does now. And I kind of wonder why. Jack, I'd be kind of curious about your reaction, but I think one is that in the modern presidency, first of all, I don't know how many are living in formal presidential houses anymore. That might be a story idea, by the way. I was at a meeting last year where a president of small college asked her counterparts how many of them sold off the university house or they used it for something else than living in it now if it's on campus. And almost every hand in the room of maybe a dozen went up. So it was kind of surprising to me. And add to that, the $1 million a president making $1 million or over $1 million. It just doesn't seem to raise the hackles that it once did.
I think it's just because they're all doing such a great job, Jeff. I mean,
there's so many other things to raise hackles about.
Yeah. I mean, I love this question because I've noticed this too, Jeff, that I used to work directly on the Chronicle's compensation survey, less so now. But I think that people like the late Ray Cotton, who was a lawyer who negotiated just countless college presidents' contracts, helped to normalize the multi-million-dollar presidential salary. And I think the only thing that makes people's jaws drop now is the football coach's salaries, or how much it costs to fire the football coach. I was looking at a story. USA Today did an analysis, I guess, last year that showed that major college athletics departments were going to spend $200 million collectively in the hiring and firing of football coaches and staff. So if you want to get ticked off about something, it's probably going to be athletic spending. The other thing I'd say about this, Jeff, and I think that this is part of why we did the controversy draft. It was fun, but we were also trying to say what's changed in our country, what's changed in our society. And how people react to controversies and what makes for one is part of that story. If you think about the financial crisis of 2008 or Occupy Wall Street in 2011, these were historical and cultural moments where people were really angry over compensation, and college presidents were swept up in that. People were looking at college presidents' compensation, and they weren't Goldman Sachs figures, but they were part of the same soup of just, executives just being overpaid. So context matters. The other thing is that people may not get ticked off about a few dozen college presidents who make over $1 million in base salary, but they get really upset about the tiniest things, not the tiniest things, but smaller things than that. And a great example of this is Ben Sass. He's the former U.S. senator who ran the University of Florida, self-styled fiscal conservative. But, he had a party with a $38,000 sushi bar, and that kind of thing will still get you in trouble. These $500 olive jars or $38,000 sushi bars, those things still matter.
It's funny when you put those numbers in contrast with each other. The olive jar doesn't sound that bad, but
they got a steep deal on the olive jar.
Yeah, they're right. Like it sort of got off a little harsh. But okay, so what I really want to ask though is